Welcome to the Major League Gaming King of the Beta Hill Showmatch Series. I'm JP McDaniel, and casting, of course, with me this week will be Sean Day9 Plot, who's always there casting with me, so it shouldn't be any surprise. But we do have one surprise for you this week. Cathan Luck just decided to sleep in or something. He didn't get up for his show match against the Little One. So in his place, we have Jinro, the Terran Swedish... or the Swedish Terran player, actually, and he will be playing under the ID Yum Yum Hungry, as we are playing on the U.S. realm, and TLO will be playing on the ID Europe. So our first map will, of course, be Lost Temple. We're going to go and get this match started. And Sean, TLO versus Jinro, what do you think is going to happen in this first matchup right here?
Well, I have the delight of being good friends with Jinro and also having casted a whole bunch of games of the Little One, and both these players are outrageously good. I'm almost glad Cathan didn't show up because we randomly got to see these two beasts play against each other. TLO, who many of you know as the Little One, we abbreviate him TLO just to save on syllables. He is a random player who just has this phenomenally creative play that's backed up by solid fundamentals. A lot of players love little cheesy gimmicks, but they end up getting their money really high or their unit control's bad. The Little One has no such problems, always has solid mid-games and brilliant follow-throughs. And Jinro, also an unbelievably solid player, but interestingly, I think I'm going to be more surprised as what Jinro is going to be doing this game. We do see the Little One spawning his Terran at the top, and Jinro, or should I say Yum Yum Hungry, spawning his Terran at the right. Jinro does play a lot, and he's been experimenting around with a ton of different styles, and every single series I've casted him in, he's ended up playing Terran vs. Protoss and done wildly different styles in all of them. From Mass Marauder with weird early expands to gold, into mech play, or in the most recent Team Liquid versus Team EG show match, Jinro was doing this Mass Marine, Mass Tank, very slow pushing. So I'm very, very interested to see what Jinro is going to be pulling out today, whether he's going to be returning to his roots or whether we're going to see more creativity out of him.
Yeah, looking at both players, it looks like they're building the supply depot really, really identical to each other, right next to the command center. Mm-hmm. And this might be because of Reapers. I'm not sure why they're not walling off. I guess Terran versus Terran, it doesn't really matter if you wall off. But I think we're just going to see probably the same opener right here, at least in the very, very beginning, because the Terran pretty much always go the same opener, at least in the first couple of supply here. So, well, we have two SCVs now going to the ramp of Jinro's base, or Yum Yum Hungry. I guess he's going to go scout with one of them and drop a Rax down as well. Going back over to TLO's base, he is going to be dropping that Rax a little bit behind the ramp. He's not going to be walling off, and we do see a refinery going down now for TLO, so maybe some Reapers coming out of TLO here pretty early on.
Yeah, both players pretty much going to do the standard thing, getting their refinery out really early. I wouldn't mind not going Reapers. Probably something a little bit more standard, just making some Marines and expanding, making some Marines and getting a factory right away. Seems a little bit more likely at this point, but I do love that both players didn't send out SCVs early, just build that supply depot right next to the command center because they do want maximum income. And this is the one disadvantage Jinro is that you see this SCV of his scouting along the left side of the map. He really didn't want to send that one out too early. The time that the Little One sent his SCV out, that's when you want to be sending it out. But keep in mind, the Little One plays random, so Jinro always has to scout a little bit early as Terran. And his SCV just went right by the Little Ones. I don't know if he got a chance to see that, because that could be a potentially huge deviation that he'd want to take into account. But it looks like Jinro's just throwing down the orbital command pretty standardly.
Yeah, both players are actually researching that orbital command. They're getting those mules out. Pretty identical builds right now for both players. Haven't really seen any deviations. We do see a reactor going down for Jinro. Wow, I got to think about these names because Yum Yum Hungry just doesn't really resonate as Jinro for me right now. So now we see a factory going down for TLO in his base. A little bit of a deviation here on from the builds from both players.
Yeah, I really like what Jinro's doing, assuming it's what, I've encountered against him in practice, where he's going to be getting this barracks to get a bunch of Marines out, to be very aggressive, to be able to defeat any player who tries to do any sort of funky early expanding antics. And look at this, Jinro already has his second refinery down. Going to the Little One's base, we only see the Little One just starting his. So Jinro's preparing for a very gas-intensive follow-up. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Thor's come out really quickly, or if we saw tanks with Siege come out very quickly. Looks like the Little One does have his factory coming up. He'll probably be getting a tank very quickly here, but he won't be able to afford siege mode quite yet. So all these are big possibilities, and Little One has a slight advantage of being able to get inside of Jinro's base and to see what's up.
Looks like the Wow, the TLO. Wow, the little one is opting for that Hellion there out of the factory instead of putting a tech lab on it right away. He has gotten that other refinery down now, so he's actually on par with Jinro, although Jinro has about 250 gas right now compared to 200 of TLOs. So we're just waiting to see what kind of tech we're going to see from these players. A little bit of an aggression play right here from Jinro as he's moving 3 Marines up in an SCV on the right side. They're behind those bushes, so the little one can't actually see it. Now this Hellion is about to move out. It looks like he might have saw that SCV. He saw it a little bit late pulling that Marine back. Jinro is going to be able to get inside his base and see what the little one is up to.
And this is real scary for Jinro right now as he's wandering these Marines by. I don't know if this Hellion has seen it, but this army is going to get decimated by Jinro. There goes one shot on the Hellion. Great control by the little one. Oh no, Jinro getting completely cornered, gets absolutely decimated without even really killing anything. So not the best situation to be in. We go back to Jinro's base. We do see that he has a tank building right now. It looks like he's also sending an SCV to perhaps throw down some siege mode. Or an SCV to perhaps build a command center. There we go. But it's going to be a tough defense right now as his tank's only halfway done. And if the little one pushes right now, he might win immediately.
Yeah, one thing to note is that Jinro actually did lift off that Rax there from the reactor. It looks like he was going to do some scouting with it, but as soon as he saw this aggression from a little one, he decided to bring it back and drop it on that Rex. He's still not building any Marines. Okay, there he goes. That command center is coming up, and the tank is about to come out, but it looks like there's just so many forces here from little one inside of Jinro's base.
Jinro's going to have to bring a bunch of SCVs if he wants to survive this, but fortunately those SCVs are super strong. Oh my god, the shots on the Hellion do so much damage. He needs to be very careful to control everything really well if he wants to be able to hold this attack, but those SCVs just repair so quickly, and the fire rate is so good on those tanks. Look at that, target firing the Hellions, making sure that nothing too bad ends up happening, but the little one already at a gigantic advantage. Jinro down at 23 food, and the little one up at 36 food, so huge lead right now for Jinro, and a bunch of SCVs were lost by Jinro.
And look at the little one bringing in the Rax into Jinro's base, and look, he was starting to build a couple of Marines, but he actually canceled that when he lost his forces, and now that Rax is actually falling really quickly to those 4 Marines, but I think it's going to be able to get out of there in time. Hopefully it won't burn too much. We do see a Thor out for the little one now at the ramp going outside of his base, and also a command center there at the natural expansion. The command center for Jinro was being built during that or throughout that attack, but the SCV was killed. So it looks like probably Jinro's is going to finish first, but the little one will be right behind, and that Thor is going straight towards his base. I imagine when Jinro sees that, he's going to be a little bit surprised.
Yeah, and look, this barracks is already in position, so we can shoot all the way up the high ground and easily snipe off these tanks. And, you know, to defend Jinro, I think that his build was actually quite smart. It's just that virtually no Terran players open up by getting 2 Hellions. That's incredibly unusual by the little one. But, you know, as we heard yesterday in the State of the Game podcast with little one, he really doesn't do too much overthinking or too much over-preparing. He likes to respond in the game. And when he saw that reactor, he just said, hey, if I get some Hellions out, I can counter-push early with Marines and Hellions and do some significant damage. And he was dead on the ball with that.
It looks like we do see 2 factories inside the little one's base, and also a couple siege tanks with the siege what is it called? Siege tech. Sorry, I was going to say siege tank research, but that's not it. We do see Rax now scouting out the little one's base from Jinro. He's going to be able to see this expansion really soon. He does see the refinery going up now, and the command center is about to come into view. There it is. He does have his command center done, as well as the orbital command researched on it, but he hasn't moved yet. He looks like he's training an SCV from it. Okay, there we go. Now he's lifting off. He's going to be putting it into place. And that Rax now clearly sees what the little one is up to for Jinro, which is really good because he knows exactly what is coming.
But this is going to be an incredibly tough spot for Jinro right now because the little one already has that starport up. We see a medevac being researched. And with this composition of units, these tanks and Thors, he can walk right down here to the gold mineral patch that's in between these 2 bases and begin ferrying units onto Jinro's high ground. And it's going to be almost impossible for Jinro to defend because the only thing he really has that can scout up there is his own barracks. And as we can see, that barracks is all the way on the other side of the map at the little one's high ground ramp. So, you know, Jinro's going to try to hold on for a little bit longer, but it's going to be pretty much impossible to defend his expo once this medevac pops up.
Yeah, Jinro does have a Thor out of his own, and he is building another one, so he's going to be... Oh, okay, now we see a second Thor from TLO going towards that Zelnaga watchtower right outside of Jinro's base. Looks like he's doing a little bit of a scout... Oh, okay, he's actually...
Hellion drop.
Yeah, Hellion drop, and also dropping a Thor into the back of Jinro's base. Here come the 3 Hellions now with no no units there from Jinro to actually repel those Hellions right now. He's going to be rushing this towards his expansion. And we see a couple of we see one tank, 3 Marines, and 1 Thor actually fighting on that Rax. And now that, wow, we better watch out for that medevac because it was about to get target fired from those Marines. Now those Hellions are just doing so much work on the SCVs and the Marines. And now that Thor is just getting demolished there with the 250 millimeter strike cannons of that other Thor from TLO. Just an incredible micro war right here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a brilliant move to target his Thor with your Thor. And look at that, good game. Jinro ends up leaving, just couldn't withstand the unreal pressure by the little one. I mean, that really, I think, is a brilliant move to just do the 250 millimeter cannon after the initial Thor gets in there and is isolated. I mean, that's really, really great control by the little one. And honestly, just start to finish domination. That really goes to show how much benefit you can gain by thinking very well in the game. I loved the little one's response by getting those early Hellions and just pushing very quickly and not letting up the pressure once during the whole game.
All right, so there you go. TL is going to be taking the first match over Jinro 1-0, and we will be going on to our second map, Steps of War.